Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the Golden Opportunities Coaching YouTube channel. We've got over 500 audios in a variety of topics. Hopefully, something that is of benefit to you. Hopefully, many things that are of benefit to you. We want to make maximum impact. We got over 500 subscribers now. Thank you to all of you who've subscribed. Please like, share, comment below, and do what you can to expand things. We want to get to 1,000 so we can, in fact, give some money to charity during these difficult times. If you're looking for coaching on how to make more powerful choices, which is the topic of today's audio, please feel free to reach out on my YouTube channel at this YouTube channel. Actually, almost gave me my Twitter handle there. But anyway, on this YouTube channel, just go to the About Me section. My website's there. You can go there, check it out, and set up sessions. Or you can go on Twitter at PO Perception and ultimately get to where you need to be or where it's helpful to be if you want to make some really profound changes this year in a positive direction. So, we're going to talk today about the powerful choices that successful people make. And there's about 10 things I want to cover in this in this particular audio. And each of these are choices that successful people have had to make in order to become successful where they are. I encourage you to take notes if that's helpful to you, or just jot down words that make sense to you through the process, just because you want to anchor this information into your brain as you go forward and make the most of your life. The first thing is turn negative situations into or negative traits about you into positives. So the balance of life is about looking at everything from a neutral perspective first and then choosing it to be a positive in your life. But sometimes we have negative situations. Sometimes we have things that are just feel insurmountable that we'll never be able to get to in a meaningful way, that we won't be able to reach, that just won't happen for us. And sometimes we have traumatic experiences that ultimately shape who we are as people, and we think we'll never get past them. But the key to becoming a successful person is taking your lowest moment and finding a way that it shaped you to be a better, stronger, or more valuable person in society. I'll give you a personal example just to show you how this works in an extreme scenario. I lost one of the most important people in my life to suicide in 2007. And because of that, I started a business, Golden Opportunities Coaching, to help people own their lives in the best way possible. But from the darkest moment of my life came this beautiful ability to touch 15,000 people, over 36,000 sessions now. Uh, to imagine that in 14 years that would happen from the darkest moment, turning a negative into a positive, and we all have to do that. Um, you know, just another small example from my own life. I'm the victim or the survivor of severe abuse, physical, mental, emotional, sexual exploitation, sold into sexual slavery, all that stuff in my childhood. And everyone says, "Oh, that's horrible," but I say, "Oh, that's unfortunate." But it turned out okay because I'm able to work with people that have been through those traumas in a way that, psychological professionals who've never lived it can't, emotional health professionals who've never lived it can't, because there's just a certain psychology to having lived it, gone through it, and come out the other side. And so turning that negative into a positive is important. The value of your focus is the next thing that's important to look at here. Find what matters to you most, focus on it, set goals around it, and don't relent. So that doesn't mean that we don't shift. It doesn't mean that we don't, look at things and go, well, maybe I can come back to this later, or maybe I can come back to this in a day, in a month, whatever. But the point is, your overall mission statement, your personal focus has to be progress minded and towards a larger goal. Now, it doesn't need to be the largest goal. It doesn't mean that you're going to change the world, but maybe you're going to change your neighborhood. Maybe you're going to change your household. Maybe you're going to change your weight by 1 pound a day, or 1 pound a week for 50 weeks for a year, and then you've lost 50 pounds. You've got to focus on making changes incrementally to get where you want to be. So the next is Take the value of your critics, use it, and then throw it away. What I mean by that is you can learn from people who are critical of you. You can learn from people who have negative things to say, and you can extrapolate what they're saying that has value and then leave their negativity behind. A lot of people say, oh, ignore your critics completely. No, if they're taking the time to say something, there might be something in what they're saying that has some value that you can improve upon. If they're taking the time and the effort, maybe there's something in there you can use, but take it, extrapolate it, and then toss their negativity to the side. Next is be open. Be open to learning new things. Be open to having new experiences. Be open to experiencing people that have different viewpoints than you. And then realize that you don't know everything, but you do know something. And you have value, but you're not more or less valuable than someone else you're going to meet. When you, again, coming at it from a place of neutrality and choosing where and what you invest in, that's the best way, one of the best ways to be successful, because people that are closed off, people that think their political party, religion, race, financial background, education, knowledge is better or worse than someone else's, yes, it's both. But when we begin to understand that being open to other experiences and learning from all things, that's where we become successful. The next is be willing, able, and capable and ready to make choices. It doesn't matter how big or small those choices are. It also doesn't matter whether the choice is, quote, right or, quote, wrong for you in that moment. What matters is that you can make choices with confidence and belief that if you make a choice that isn't in alignment with moving you forward, you can make an alteration to your course of action that will get you back on track. Having a good relationship and a positive relationship with resiliency is super important to becoming successful. If you don't have a core belief that you are a resilient person, it doesn't matter how much knowledge you have, it doesn't matter what support system you have, it doesn't matter what you do, what you say, how you behave. If you don't have a core belief that resiliency is part of who you are and readily accessible to you, then you will stumble at some point in a way that you never expected. The next thing is be grateful. Find little things, medium things, and big things to be grateful for in your life. I hate compare and contrast, but having a mindset that says things could always be worse, but they could always be better. Again, we come back to the center of neutrality. Yes, there are things that need to improve in your life. Yes, you'd like to have more money or more influence with those that matter to you, or you'd like to have more food in your fridge, or you'd like to feel better or differently or happier, but there are people that are having a worse experience with you right now, this moment, and this moment, and this moment. And when we focus on the ability that someone in the world is having a worse experience than we are, maybe in a third world country, maybe down the street, it doesn't matter. We can be grateful for what we have. Now, it doesn't mean you always have to be happy. I'm so against this toxic positivity movement where we talk about, oh, just be happier. Well, sometimes you're sad and sometimes you're angry and sometimes you're frustrated, and that's okay. The key is to move through negative emotions back to a neutral place and then back to positivity at a pacing that is continual forward motion, but acknowledging where you are. The next is challenge yourself. So part of what we need in order to feel successful, even in Maslow's hierarchy of human needs, is the ability to see ourselves as growing and expanding. And so that requires us to do things we haven't done before, read books we haven't read before, learn things we didn't know before, experience people and situations we've never experienced before. It means challenging ourselves and leaving our comfort zones for the sake of our own advancement, for the sake of memory of experience, for the sake of, hey, life is kind of interesting sometimes. It doesn't necessarily mean that if we take on a challenge and we find out, hey, I'm no good at this, all right, abandon mission. That's cool, but at least you gave yourself the challenge to know what your new parameters are. And sometimes pushing through a challenge and going, you know what, I did it and I didn't think I could. When I started, I had no idea if I would, but I did it and I pushed through. That's a valuable lesson too. We can do more than we think is possible. The next thing is avoid the victim mentality. Look, we all have been at some level, or almost all of us, victims of circumstances. Whether it's being misunderstood, whether it's being abused, whether it's being neglected, whether it's being typecast, whether it's poverty or discrimination or whatever it is, we've all had moments of victimhood. But the more we stay in perpetual victimhood, as a matter of fact, I honestly believe this is why Western culture has become softer and have so much division in it. We've become a culture over the last 50, 60 years where, this bad thing happened to me and therefore it's not fair. And so now I'm going to join a group or join a movement or talk about how miserable this is every day, every week, every month, every year. We're going to make it bigger and bigger and bigger. And we've got cancel culture. We've got all these things. And all these things are staying in a perpetual emotion of victimhood. Well, it's fine that you feel that way. And I'm not saying ignore your feelings, but are you moving forward while you feel that way? That's a core question of value. That's a core question of, are you using your time and emotions effectively? And if not, you need to start if you truly want to be successful. The next is have that inner place. Have that place within yourself that no one can touch, but also that you can return to that feels safe. Whether it's a religious practice, whether it's meditation, whether it's listening to audios like this, whether it's reading certain books, whether it's looking at pictures of nature or playing with a cute puppy. Doesn't matter what your inner place is, but it's that place within yourself where you go where all is calm, all is well, you restore your strength, your cup runneth over, and you get to recharge. When you don't have that recharge place, and you need to go there at least a little bit every day, could be 10 minutes, could be 15 minutes, could be half an hour, but you have to be able to go into and access your recharge place every day, because without doing that, you're going to exhaust yourself. You're going to feel like, oh, wow, I went too far, and now I'm depleted, and how do I recover, and all this stuff. And that practice of disciplined self-care is so essential. The next is let go, and next and last is to let go of your past. It doesn't mean that letting go of your past does not in any way mean that you have accepted negative or abusive or toxic behavior. It means I can't change it. No matter how many times I look back at this thing, it's not going to be different. It's not going to change. But I can change my view of it. It's behind me, and I'm going to move forward from it, and I'm going to keep moving because I deserve to, because I'm worthy of having the freedom of no longer being a slave to that past. And so that's super valuable, super important, and hopefully has been helpful to you to look at from within yourself a little bit. I encourage you to keep your feet on the ground, your mind in the moment. Until next time, everybody.